Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Youth Plus Radio, where we are beyond conversation. My name is MCQ Pesa, and this is my entrepreneurship journey with the one and only Alfred Wango.
Yeah.
Karibu sana Wango.
Shukran bro, nashukuru man.
Yes sir.
Yeah, so naitwa Wango. Yeah, Alfred Wango. I am a visual artist based in Nairobi, Kenya. Well, I call myself a visual communicator.
Visual communicator.
Yes.
Unaweza elaborate kidogo what a visual artist is?
Okay, so a visual communicator, basically I communicate better using imagery. So I am an artist. I draw. So a lot of live sketching, painting, graffiti, murals, and also woodblock printing.
Woodblock printing. That is the word I've heard for the first time. What is woodblock printing?
So woodblock printing ni kama it's an ancient technique of printing whereby ilianza hapo. That's why we have printers today, including print media. So what happens is ni kama kuchimba kwa mbao, then roll ink on it and like stamp. So you can use the same technique kwa, making prints on fabric as well. So I play around with fabric, tie and dye, then pattern design as well.
Very nice.
That's the visual. Hiyo pande sasa ya kuchora, then also photography. And I do photography, more of storytelling kind of photography.
Nice.
I tend to tell stories zenye ziko around, society, stuff to do with culture, history, using my art to teach people and creating an impact in the society.
Very nice.
Yes.
Very nice. Hey, that's deep. Deep.
So also na run brand inaitwa Caribou Nairobi.
Caribou Nairobi. Tell us about Caribou Nairobi.
So Caribou Nairobi started as it was just a diary of sharing images that I took on my phone in Nairobi because I felt I'm born and bred in Nairobi. It's a city nimegrow here, on the different sides of it. I was like, okay, there are things I see that I could share out there on Nairobi through my eyes bila kuipatia vibe ya tourist and all, So ilikuwa a lot of me capturing things on my phone that I see every day while in Nairobi, then sharing.
Then storybook hivi.
Exactly.
Through pictures.
Exactly. Then pole nini kajipata tumeanza ku create merchandise with a friend of mine. So from there we started making tie and dye socks and tukaanza kuuza pia. So that birthed Caribou Nairobi apparel.
Nice.
Then with time kaanza kudupia city tours around Nairobi. So things I got to learn as well inakuwa okay, niko na interest about Nairobi yenye already nafanya na photography. How about me guiding people while walking through the same spots that I take photos of and now teach them the history about these places tukiwa hapo, and for them to understand Nairobi mbona iko hivyo venye iko sasa.
So also a guide as you take people through Nairobi.
Yes.
You also teach them about Nairobi.
Exactly. So that's something I also do around Nairobi, but I also work for a company named Let's Drift, whereby I'm a hiking guide. So during the weekends I'm out in the hills, the mountains, the rivers, the waterfalls nikizungusha watu.
Very nice. Kwa hivyo uko fit, lazima uko physically fit for all this.
Ni lifestyle.
So ngoja, when you mention Nairobi, are we talking about Nairobi County, Nairobi CBD, or where in Nairobi exactly?
Well, for me, currently ni mainly based around the CBD, but pia inaenda expand outside the CBD into other spots around Nairobi, because there's a lot of history that's within the CBD. Considering even pre-colonial Kenya, you find that there are spots that are very relevant to the socio-economic and political background of Nairobi as it is right now.
Nice.
So when pole inatoka outside the CBD, even going outside other places around the CBD, because ukiangalia places like Eastlands, ukiangalia venye nyumba zinakaa huko compared to venye zinakaa in Ngara na venye zinakaa pande za Lavington, and also probably the majority of the people living in these different places, it goes down back to history on mbona hawa watu wanaishi huku and there's a whole story behind it,
the lifestyle behind the livity that
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. I think it's a very broad topic.
It goes really deep, but it's very interesting, man. History, I'm a history and culture enthusiast. So there's a lot of it. It's very interesting. Yeah, so I feel like, even nikienda me fetching water from the fountain of knowledge, afai kwa yangu pekee, should quench thirst for all of us,
Na bado ina trickle down to the more you share, the more you get to learn and understand.
Exactly as it should.
I like that. So how do people go about making bookings with you when they want to take a trip around Nairobi and learn about Nairobi? How do people get around that?
So at the moment, on our socials at Caribou Nairobi, so that's where we get, most people can reach out through that. Then now we have a ticketing platform in case whereby now if people want to buy tickets, bado when we need to push our merchandise, so we can redirect people to our e-commerce platform. But at the moment, most ni just people reaching out on our socials. So website bado iko jikoni.
Book kwanza uonyeshe brand.
So this is among the merchandise that you make.
That is the KICC.
Yeah, so this is I only make key design, and why I chose KCC, I feel like it's a very unique aspect of Nairobi. Utazunguka hii dunia and you won't find a building that looks.
Iko kwa noti kwanza sasa.
Yeah, so na feel it's part of identity ya Nairobi.
Very true.
So then even for us to push the whole aspect of Nairobi, inakuwa more than a city, Nairobi can mean different things to different people.
True.
Kuna kwa msee, wanaona the dualities of Nairobi. Kuna msee akisikia Nairobi anaona the hustle. Kuna msee Nairobi anaona ni kujituma, mtu mwingine anaona Nairobi ni the vibrant life, manganya nini.
Mtu anajua Nairobi ana associate Nairobi na crime.
Exactly. Mwingine anaona Nairobi anaona heartbreak. So it could go either way. It's what Nairobi means to you.
That's true.
Yeah. So kuna that aspect of it's also very individual. And now we're also pushing for, self-expression. It's very individual to you, but it's a space for all of us to coexist and thrive in it.
Okay. So let's go off kidogo, si ndio? Haya, nataka unaweza tupatia brief background on how Wango came to be.
Okay. So mimi nilizaliwa Eastlands, place inaitwa Buru Phase 1. So pale ndo nimezaliwa, nimegrow hapo. Naweza sema niligrow in a very supportive background, because journey yangu ya art ilianza when I was very little. Like hadi sahi I come across some of the drawings I did as a little kid, because kama umegrow in an environment that was very supportive, definitely you'll find traces of the little you.
Nika breadcrumbs tu kidogo hapa na pale.
Exactly. So nikigrow, at least nilikuwa exposed to spaces za art nini. Then yes, nika join chuo nini, but sasa unajua kidogo education system haitambui hizi vitu sana. So but uzuri since unapata pale nyumbani, foundation ilikuwa strong. Ilikuwa rahisi even once I was done with school, ilikuwa rahisi bado kuzidi pursue art. So from there joined uni nilifanya landscape architecture. So nikamaliza. Good thing it was still within the design scope. So there's that aspect of knowing, the process of design, observing spaces, questioning spaces, coming up with recommendations and stuff. So since nimade chuo, it's just been doing my stuff. But that I didn't gain anything from that.
And are you actually practicing your nini certificate hapo?
I'm not a practicing
architect. Right.
But kuna a lot of things nimelearn. I'm not practicing it professionally the way how anyone would do it in an office, doing master plans and stuff, but more of I'm employing hiyo process yote nilifanya.
So kuna kitu uli learn from school.
A lot.
That imesaidia na hii form of art yenye unafanya sasa.
Exactly, because na feel the essence of education is not really to mold you to be a very specific person. Si ati ni robots zinatolewa. Inafaa kuwa more of ina add tu kenye kwa kichwa yako na una-relate na experiences zako na environment yako, and now you just push it.
That's very nice. That's an artistic view of education, which most people don't understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Sasa hiyo ni background. na acha sasa nikutoe skin yako hii coat yenye umeweka ya art.
Okay.
Without art, who are you?
Without art, Wango. Well, first of all, Wango exists without art, but still, Wango is a son. Wango is an African. Wango is a lover and a student of life.
Ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Wango. Yeah.
Oh. Very interesting though. Very interesting. I'd like us to hang out one day. Naweza taka to chill tu yani go through Nairobi tukijuanga ni aje.
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay. So unaweza define journey yako in 3 words. Journey yako ya entrepreneurship in 3 words.
Naweza sema impossible is nothing.
Impossible is nothing.
Impossible is nothing.
Impossible is nothing. Have you gone through the impossible to understand that it's nothing?
Najua nimekuwa in a lot of situations where you thought things are impossible, but ukarealize impossible ni nothing. Yeah, like kuna situations you thought things can't work out, and baadaye they work out, or things work out and you don't understand how they work out. So una realize kitu ka impossible si kitu ina exist.
So tunaweza sema kwa industry yako you do not believe in impossibilities.
Exactly. There's always a way to finding something. And if you don't get your place ulikuwa una get, there's somewhere you get that probably that's where you needed to be. Yeah.
So there's still something that's going to come out of that situation.
Exactly. Or at times we feel that hatujafika hapo, but it just needed time. It just needed some patience, then you actually get there. Even unajua inafika mahali probably there's a detour. Then kuna ka diversion utachukua, probably kuna msatona ni impossibility. But all it needed was that diversion, then go back to your track. Yeah.
Okay. Sasa kwa hiyo swali tu ya impossible, I'd like to ask you, what are the 3 biggest reasons you failed?
Well, for me, failure ijaikuwa ni kama ni wall nimefika. But for me uchukulia ni ka lesson, like it's part of the process.
Is there an example of something you tried and failed through your entrepreneurship journey that you'd like to share with us?
I'd say siwezi ziita failure really. It was me trying out different things, because even after school I tried out different forms of art. Tried out poetry, tried out playing different instruments. Siyesema nilifail na hizo pursuing that, but it's more of they drove me into other things, because during that travel process is when I also picked up photography, and hiyo ili stick.
Photography mistake, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So but kuchora imekuwa consistent all through. So even me trying out all these different things, I can't really say they were failures, but more of, they were part of the process. They needed to be there. Na ni venye probably need mahali to a higher ground, kuna vitu uteka hapo chini ya miguu yako ndio zikuinue uget sight ya what you really want.
I like that. So okay, nafilika umejibu, lakini I'd like you to tell us what are the like 3 reasons that you've succeeded at what you do.
Okay. Naweza sema first of all, a very supportive environment mali nimegrowia na family, because family yangu imekuwa very supportive, especially my mother. So
Salimia mother.
Yeah, so much gratitude na salamu kwa ajira wao wago. That's my mother.
Nice. Salimika mama. Asante sana.
So imekuwa ni environment una thrive as an artist. So like kuna a lot, especially for a lot of African parents wanajua things are supposed to be done a certain way. Uende chuo nini, utafute kazi, kuwe employed and all that, but
suit and tie kwanza.
Exactly.
But working from 8 to 5.
Bana, wewe unachora nika uko serious na maisha. But for me that was not the case. Ilikuwa a space that is very patient with you, that is very supportive, that is very, wana kumotivate and all. So naweza sema ili push sana kukuwa the kind of a person I am, because there's a way pia naweza sema me view life whereby I try to be very aware, very present, very intentional. So being that individually, then being in a space that is very conducive for all these conditions to thrive, na feel ili push sana, na pia ime put that momentum, for me to push and keep on pursuing and trying out things every day and be willing to learn things every day.
Okay. Yes. Sasa a question, when you do art, when you paint, do you paint people or animals or buildings?
Well, for me, I love people. Kuna wase husema wapendi watu, but mi napenda watu. I love looking at people. I love observing people. There are times I just sit in spaces and look at people. Naweza enda tatao niketi mahali and just look at people. And at times I love my sketch pad. I move around with my sketch pad a lot. Nianze ku sketch tu wase wakitembea, buildings I see, but it's more of me questioning spaces and try to observe people, try to understand their complexities and their similarities, because na feel inafanya kuwe beautiful pia. Yeah, so for me most of my subjects are people. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. So knowing what you know now, with those kidogo years of experience, knowing what you know now, what would you change in your industry? The art industry.
Okay, in my industry. Okay, wacha niseme industry reflects a lot on like the individuals. So I feel probably one thing ni imposter syndrome. I feel at times we as artists we don't really appreciate the impact that we make in this society. Na feel ikianza hapo whereby we realize that we actually have a very like power tuko nao ni kubwa sana kushinda even politicians and all. Na feel the moment we realize the power we have and appreciate what we can do, na feel that already tatuweka mahali whereby we know that we have a certain power and the gift we have in us has a power to change the society. So I feel first of all, the moment artists acknowledge the power they have, that could be, the genesis of something. Yeah. Something else I feel needs a change. Probably the aspect of professionalism as well. Because for me right now, as I say, looking back, that's something nimeenda nikigrow. That if I knew earlier, probably I'd be more professional on how I do my things, In as much as I'm an artist and all that stuff, I feel there's the aspect of how you present yourself, how you present
in front of people who are not artists.
Exactly. How you communicate with people as well.
Who are not artists.
Exactly. Who are artists and also who are artists. Yeah, because not every artist will understand each other. But pia kukua in that situation whereby pia understanding, unaelewa umsako hivi na hivi na hivi. And, that aspect of being unajua ku communicate with different people differently. I feel like that's something pia mimi mwenyewe nimelearn that I feel
ita change you use ideas sana.
Exactly. Because pia interact na other artists who are naweza sema they're way ahead whereby in terms of experience wamekuwa kwa mchezo for long, they've been in different circles, different spaces, and that's something you observe from them, even how they carry themselves, how they relate with other people. That aspect whereby there's a way they'll carry themselves, there's a way they'll separate themselves from their work. Yeah.
Okay, so our able governor, yes, has really tried to talk to youths, or rather trying to relate with the youths. The first thing nime notice ni story nanganya. Mathri za mjini amesema yo art ikutu sawa, it is us, we are Kenyan and that is our business. So from an artistic point of view, what would you tell our governor to help us artists with?
I feel already Step Sky is already important, highlighting the things that make us who we are is very important, and kukua, let's promote this culture, it's keeping us out there. The other thing I feel, in Nairobi there's still a lot of space for street art, having, because already it's happening in Nairobi, like that's a step. And I feel that it could go further to even different spaces, public interactive art, having art installation. For instance, like on the expressway, I feel all those columns inaweza kuwa fiti sana if they could get art on them, because I feel these are already opportunities that artists can be brought onto and make an impact.
This is a canvas already.
Exactly, it's a canvas that can put us out there. Una realize that street art can actually be like a whole tourism
attraction
thing. Yeah. Kuna a lot of countries including India who art is already contributing to the economy.
Yeah.
Now imagine Nairobi as a county whereby art contribute to Nairobi's income. So,
yeah.
so I feel already it can be a tourist attraction. For instance, like Ukena Railways Museum, the entrance, there's a whole wall, several meters. I think it's like the longest wall in Nairobi and icona art. That already is an attraction in that space. Yeah, so I feel having more of that out there that people can interact with is a plus.
It is definitely a plus. Yeah. Other than kupanda maua, which I think ikona kazi mingi ya maintenance.
Yeah, for sure. But unajua pia the problem with that is mahali yote maua inapandwa na ilikuwa imebudgetiwa that maua inafaa kupandwa hapa. There definitely has to be budgeting for maintenance.
Yes.
Si ati imepandwa then ni kama ati mawe itakaa hapo. Ni venye sasa probably some people just don't want to be accountable for that.
Alright.
So so na feel there can be a mix of both, Nairobi still is the city.
It's big enough.
Plus it's the green city under the sun. We still
very
need,
nice.
Yeah, we still need that greenery in the city. But we also want now that merging pia na the art, it can also be very interactive, even because art play a major role even in the city. People getting to see what Nairobi is about. Nairobians pia kukumbushwa that we still got some beautiful stuff in this city. So probably that's something that could happen, and probably a lot of flea markets and forums and just involve artists showcasing their work, having people come here, check out what people are doing, inaweza establish a whole web of networks globally.
Do you think the government has a big part to play in this?
They definitely do, because you find that wao wanaweza we have the relevant offices already in place, like hizi ministries of youth and like youth affairs, sports.
So they really have to be involved in all this.
Exactly, even stuff ministry like the culture and everything, having such, because I bet there are already stakeholders who know like what's happening, but also when it comes to the bigger scale, you don't really see stuff changing really. Things are being done the same way kutoka kitambo, and generations after generations, but things are still done the same way, and I feel it's important.
Now what will be the public perception of all this? Unajua mostly we can talk about art because we are youths here, and this is Youth Plus Radio, yes, of course, but it's because the youth are the majority of Kenyans we have right now. The public perception of art is not as friendly. Okay, can I say that? Juu saizi sana tukiangalia mziki, tuko na mziki tu, yani tu mziki tu. Yes, it's still art, but is it the future of us as artists? Naona pia saa nyi wasanii wa kuchora, naona mna stick na side moja ya kuna growth fulani inafaa kuwa understood na wase na raia, as in from the young to the old.
I feel it's more of most times I feel art is also informed by our environment, our surrounding and all. So ni more of bringing it closer to the people, because na feel art yangu hata mseko pale ocha ndani should understand my art, because it's I create art because I'm probably feeling a certain way and I feel this is how I want to express myself. But even me putting my work out there inaweza kuwa poa if these people can get to see what I do. Some things to do like exhibitions. Kuna photographers who you'll see like they'll document certain stories and having their art probably even in the streets. Unajua pia even the county government providing such an opportunity whereby first of all walitoa story ya photography in town, like photographers used to get harassed a lot.
Yes.
Plus, and you're just trying to put your city out there, you're just trying to make your little income hapa na pale. So that was a step, and I feel like having spaces whereby artists can put their work out there and other people can get to interact with that work of art, inakuwa rahisi for them to understand it rather than kusikia tu kuna waseufanya certain thing then all of a sudden they're seeing work and they can't really connect with it. But the moment they see it a lot and they feel like they can see themselves in their work, then I feel like that's a big step.
Artists express themselves, and mostly people who come to see these images do not really understand them. Na hapo ndo shida inakujianga. Na mimi nitasema hivi juu there's a time there was an exhibit hapo archives. Na picha mingi zilikuwa zimekuwa kwanza post election and guys, there's a guy who won an award for taking pictures during post election violence. I feel that was not okay. It was good for him or her, but that was not art. That was pain.
But kitu moja ni I think at times we try to box art, but you forget that there was an impact that those photos created. Because putting that art out there, these are not things that were done from ati wase wametoka planet Uranus wameland Earth na wameua wase. It was us Kenyans who inflicted these injuries on ourselves. And it needed an artist to put this work out there. This is what happened in Kenya. Kuna a lot of people who walijua okay, this and this happened in Kenya, including Kenyans, but they didn't know the impact. And na feel people who didn't get to see that at the time, but you had photos there and people got to see that this is actually what happened. It was an actual bloodbath, and I feel that was a basis to create conversation, because that's what art is supposed to do, put out everything, asi mambo na kuficha inakuwa ni aje mambo iko hivi na hivi. And we need to have a discussion. We need to have very vulnerable conversations around this and this. But it's the role of an artist to tell the times. The role of an artist is just to be a witness and show that this is happening. Now it's up to the society to now have this conversation and decide whether they want to change or not. So in as much as yes, probably they got compensation out of it or they were paid for it, but they did what they were supposed to do, to tell the tales of the time. So it's up to the society kujua how they perceive this work, whether they want to go back to that, because now the artist has done the work of bringing the work to you. This is what happened. And now we're here. Do you want to go back there? So ninyi wenyewe mwamwe if you're willing to have the conversations and be willing to change things or not.
So the artist created the platform.
Exactly.
To talk about what really happened back then.
And that's why such spaces are very important, triggering conversations. Yes.
Okay. That is nice. That is really, really nice. So my next question was based on your safe space, and you already told me that your family is your safe space. And that is a really good place to call home. Home is home, yani.
Exactly.
Sasa, is there anyone else out there who supports, or rather, when you're feeling not in that mood of painting, when you're not motivated enough, where do you go to get your motivation?
I think the beauty is with the work I do, it tied a lot to what I love. And most times what you love gives you peace. So I told you I hike a lot during the weekends. So being in nature, first of all, ni a whole, nika ku appointment ya daktari. So being in nature, kuingiza tu maji kwa mto, the fresh air, interacting with new people, that's one of my coping mechanisms. I also enjoy playing soccer. So once in a while, Friday nights, mi ucheza ball. So kidogo, being active unisaidia ku release pressure as well. At times pia ku have conversations na like my mentors, na feel kuna wasome impact career yangu sana, even how na relate career yangu na life yangu, people like Biko. Biko is a photographer and run brand new slam photography. Amekuwa very instrumental in my journey. Watuka kina Kevo Abra ni stylist, kuna artist wengi sana kina Chicks, and ni wasome impact journey yangu sana, so niko grateful kwao pia.
Okay. Very nice. Big up yourself, man. Sasa na acha niulize na Flosin Mauano
na feel anado unajua thing about street art na graffiti ilianza na venye Flossin anadu ilikuwa a lot of inaitwa tagging. So unaget wase back in the 80s in New York, like they jump on subways or trains na ulikuwa una tag jina yako. So the essence was to have your name out there that wase wanajua kuna huu mse fulani wa graph anaitwa hivi na hivi. So unaweza sema Flossin Mawana amego back to basics.
Na ameza tusemeaje ni kama pave way, can we say that ama
paving way I don't know kana naweza sema hivyo, but ameachieve goal ya Kenya tagging was all about, you know. Jina iko out there. Hadi inaanza kukuwa identity.
And up until recently is when they put a face to the name. The people didn't know Flossin.
Because that's how tagging used to work. Haiko wase wanakujua sura, but more of we know this tag. So na feel me go back to basics. And I feel, you know, success is very relative. So probably for Flossin Mawano,
he achieved success. Very nice. So my last question. Okay. Right now, I'm sure you still have a lot more in store.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. What do you need right now, mahali uko? What do you feel you need, or rather, what do you actually need to be better, to be better at what you do?
Yeah. I feel probably the biggest thing right now na life pay imenifunza nimerealize ni time. Time is also something that we don't play, but it's a major ingredient in the process. So I feel at the moment time pia to achieve the things I want, but pia definitely, you know, finances pia, whereby you probably want to create kazi na ka certain way, but you know funds hazitoshi. You probably want to get, you know, better images, but equipment uko nayo haikuallow at the time. You probably need to, you know, explore how far your art can go, but probably machine uko nayo inapumua crazy and you know you can't do much.
Okay.
Yeah, but una appreciate pia ni process pia. You need to be there, and you by the time una go steps higher and you're getting better equipment, uta appreciate pia mali ulitoka. But yeah,
do you have a studio?
Yeah, so at the moment niko based at Lavington, just off James Gishuru place naitwa Embe Creatives. It's a space yenye iko na different artists in that space, so it's a very conducive environment as well, since pale uko na stylists, uko na photographers, videographers, set designers, there's some e-commerce platform over there as well, other painters, you know, it's a whole ecosystem that allows you to thrive. So,
ni chill sport ya wasanii tunasema hivyo. Other artists
other artists pia wanakam, you know, ni important pia to bring in that new energy, wase wana interact, get to see what other people are doing. So yeah, the space inaitwa Embe Creatives. So mimi niko na studio hapa inaitwa Caribou Nairobi Studios. At Embe Creatives. Maybe you should give us the directions there. So again. It's just off James Gishuru, barabara inaitwa Maji Mazuri Road. Yeah, so it's just close to Lavington Mall. That's like the nearest landmark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so from there, it's not too far. It's like some 200 meters from there.
Yeah. Very nice. Sasa Mr. Wango, tukimalizia. Maybe there's something you'd like to share with us? A story or an experience?
Let me think.
Maybe hata niulize your worst experience when it came to art, or rather ukiwa job ama when you tulikuwa fanya your worst experience, maybe during hikes or during this Caribou Nairobi tours and whatnot. Your worst experience.
My worst experience. Interesting. Ni hard kufikiria.
Kuna yenye unakumbukaga hadi wale huko ule client by the way kuna venye ali.
Well, yes, umekuwa kwa situations whereby umeduera vizuri, umejitolea. Then msee ako, this is not what I wanted, nini. And you're like, isn't this exactly what you wanted? Yeah, so na feel hizo ma misunderstanding pia ni like the worst things that can come, or situations whereby your prejudice pia. Msee asha kujaja certain way before they even get to know who you are. Then but now they are trying to act friendly because now they know you. So you know, it's some of the sad things that, you know, are part of life, but pia unaelewa binadamu.
Okay. Okay. Is there a time that you separate the artist from the art? Is there a time you separate yourself from the art?
I feel it's very important. But there are times you also don't want to separate the art from the artist. Because, I am my art and my art is me. It reflects a lot about me. But there are times, the art needs to be separated from the artist. Because say at times probably artist the individual akona character fulani yenye probably si fiti or, but their work iko na impact.
Their work speaks volumes.
Exactly.
Achana we angalia Kenya.
Exactly. So even I feel this art is speaking to me and it's working for me, then iko sawa. But it does not mean that me loving the art necessarily mean that I love them as an individual. Probably have issues with probably how they do things, or probably they have certain opinions that pande yangu na feel are not okay with me. That's totally okay, but that does not block you from enjoying what they can create and
they have to offer.
And the impact that it can create in your life. Because na feel kila mtu akona right to opinions zake.
Okay.
Na pia wase wanafaa kubali that opinion ya msesi lazima uagree nayo. Two truths can still coexist.
It's very true.
Kama kwangu ni true, si lazima yako iko wrong.
Si lazima.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so yes, you can definitely separate the art and the artist.
All right, so Wango, I'd like to ask you this. You see, when certain decisions are being made concerning artists in the government, is there a way? Is there a protocol? Is there a voice for the artists? Are you being represented in the right way? Who represents you when decisions are being made, or rather, how do you guys go about that?
At the moment, I know it's very hard, when you're lobbying for anything as an individual, ni hard sana, especially when it comes to the government. So, well, I know there's like an association, but, like there's nothing much to it, I don't know like a lot of artists in these associations, but I feel it's really nice for artists to come together, and establish platforms whereby us artists can have conversations around certain issues that we'd like to change in the society, especially even issues that involve the government, whereby inakuwa ni aje sisi ni wasanii, we've come together, think of solutions, also like even bring other stakeholders on board, people like say lawyers, people like say environmentalists,
because of the fine print bado hapo ndo mostly
exactly
wasanii wengi huibiwa
exactly
upotelea.
Because you also need to understand the legal aspect of it. How do you go around it? Say in terms of policies, say mtu ako into policy making, hiyo itasaidia sana in the conversations whereby now an artist will know like this is how you go about when it comes to policies with the government. Say financiers, knowing that this is how things are done, probably regulations and all that stuff. I feel important for artists as well to come together and creating such platforms and also bringing in such stakeholders. And then from there, I feel easier for us to lobby for things as a group and a very well-informed group. Yes.
So right now, where you are based, you guys like, do you have a union or of some sort? Or
I'd say we at the moment it's not really like a union per se, but already we're having conversations. Like even in a very local thing, like even in this space of ours, what would you like to change? What do we think we can improve kwa hii space? So I feel already having that conversation within your local space whereby a few artists have come together, that's a start. That's a spark to this huge fire. Because now from there, inakuwa ni aje, we need to discuss on this issue. Who can we bring on board? Probably what big project do we want to tackle? Say for instance, ni artists of Mema, we want to beautify this space. And it's a public space, How do we go about it? Who do we need to involve? How do we approach the government? What regulations and policies are involved towards this thing coming to life? Because the end goal is to be impactful to the society. We just want the society to be better. So, but I'm sure there are certain protocols that need to be followed, So probably important for artists wenyewe pia si kuwa proactive. sikungoja tu gava tumewasee wakuja kuongea na artists. It's important pia come from both sides pia.
Ni wenyewe bado mnafaa kujituma. And this is for Kenyans. As Kenyans for Kenyans. Not being involved with a certain NGO for some sort.
Just
you guys doing you.
Si lazima ikwe wazungu watoke mahali watatoka wakama hapa
watafute wasanii.
Watafute wasanii
alafu wapeleke.
Then sasa wasemeniaje tuko na wasanii wa get funding na wao ndo run projects. Na we have the capability to do that. We have the brains, we have, si wenyewe tunajua mali tunaishi. We have grown up in these spaces, we interact with these spaces every day, we know the problems that are in these spaces. So I feel probably it's time we take charge, of these things. We don't need like people in between for things to get done.
Very nice. So artists need to wake up.
Exactly. And they also need to
stand up
and work together. We can't run things individually. Like itabidi watu wameamua tu ni aje, let's come together, let's get things working. And I feel with that hadi gava it on a seriousness ya watu. Like okay, these people like they're really serious about this thing. And I feel that could be the beginning of something yenye itaenda grow, and with time unapata a big thing, like in South Africa art is very big and you have a lot of platforms coming into that and supporting the industry. Una get pia standard ya industry inapanda, inakuwa venye watu wanaona tourism Kenya isikwetu ni animals and stuff.
There's
more to Kenya than just, animals and the athletes. Inaweza kuwa artists wana run show like athletes do in Kenya.
Very nice, very nice. So, another question is, I tend to see art as spiritual in a way. You express yourself through art. Yes. And is there a way to control this? Because once you go deep inside the spiritual world, you can actually unaweza zama na udisappear uko hivyo ndani.
Well, I think
keep sane in a way.
I think as human beings we are all spiritual, kuna watu wataita spiritual, kuna watu wengine wataita energy, watu wengine wataita vibes. It's just that probably the moment imeitwa spiritual inakaa something very, mystic, but even that simple unasema sijapenda damu ya mtu imenikataa.
Na si damu.
It's that's spiritual because una feel okay umse ako na some certain energy. And I feel like art is very spiritual because it's more you connecting inward, so ni more of you allowing yourself to feel how you feel, you allowing yourself to see things as they are, because you being aware and being present in that space, that's you being spiritual, acknowledging that this person is in my life for a certain reason. That is you being, being aware that these people have a role to play in your life, and you also have a role to play in their life and the society as a whole, acknowledging that everyone has the importance in this, in this time, in this space, and it's important for you to treat other people as you'd like to be treated. So that's the whole essence around it, being, good ambassadors of just being human. Being human.
Now, you as Wango, I understand that there's something that you guys do when you bring artists and non-artists together just to express themselves. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, well, one thing about art is very healing. Because first of all, kitu spiritual is also very healing. Healing is also spiritual. So art, there's that aspect whereby life inaweza kuwa imetutoa mbio sana, and at times you just need an escape, and most times art does that. So me and a friend of mine created this platform inaitwa Art, Plants and Yoga.
Art, Plants and Yoga. Okay.
So it's a wellness experience whereby we get to use art, yoga and gardening as forms of therapy. So it's a monthly event that we do like the first or second Saturday of the month. So whereby people get to sign up, then from there we get to do like just a basic yoga session, and yoga si lazima iko whereby umeka some awkward positions
meditation.
Hapana. Yoga can basically be as basic as breathing exercises and stretching, that's yoga. Si lazima ikue very advanced design ya Buddha and everything. No, basically it's just us being in the space, being aware that you're here. You can feel the grass on your feet, you can feel the wind.
Some relaxing exercises.
Exactly.
Certain rituals fulani mnadu.
Hapana, ni kitu hata mtoto mdogo anaweza fanya, kitu wa 70-year-old anaweza fanya, So basically then we usually have a theme for every session. Kuna zingine probably ilikuwa ya affirmations. So unapata the yoga session inakuwa probably you want certain things to happen in your life, probably just saying them out loud. So unapata the yoga session inakuwa tied to that. Then from there we get to do like an art session still tied to the theme. So unapata, for instance, like for where the theme of affirmation, we got to create vision boards. So tunadu the art activity very basic. It's not like a forum whereby we want you to create like a masterpiece.
Kayo kwa nyumako. Si utengeneze kitu kama hiyo.
Tuseme si tunataka create a masterpiece, but tuseme ukue a master of peace.
A master of peace.
Exactly. We connect too with yourself using art, because we do very basic activities. What will come, let's make cards. Kuna we made cards and mtu anafunzwa ku make card from scratch, na kuna watu wengi sana after that they go home and they do that with their family. Like we do it as simple as like design unaweza enda ufanya hata na watu wengi.
Ni kitu unaweza learn to very easily.
Exactly. And materials
unaweza fanya home
bado. Materials bado unaweza pata hata kwako. Because kama like then now from there we do like a gardening activity. Now we get to teach you like different house plants, how to take care of them, how to propagate them. Probably having this house plant in your house can probably improve your sleep. Kuna hii inatoa oxygen usiku. Kuna hii that you can use as a spice. There's this that can be an antioxidant. There's this that can, help with you're probably having issues with your tummy. So that's the kind of the thing we do. Then unapata probably we do
kama herbs even too, ni zingine kama herbs.
Exactly. Yeah. Then labda unapata the container yenye mtu ana plant tumepaint. Then now you go plant your plant there.
So you can also take it home.
The essence actually ni uende nayo nyumbani. It's part of you. You created it. So it's more of you get to see what you did.
Yeah. When is the next one? When is
so we are planning for the next one to be on the 10th of December.
10th of December. Where is this?
We do it at Cheche Bookshop, Iko Lavington, just close to Mudangari Drive.
Say that again one more time for people who would like to join you.
Yeah, Cheche Bookshop. It's on Kauria close of Mudangari Road. In Lavington. So it's a monthly event that we do na. For us, what's most important is the impact. Because after your event, mtu anakuambia, man, I didn't know I needed this, or I feel like I'm at peace, Because at times mimi naanza kuwa na pressure of giving people a good time, but ni poor that people assure you that it was more about them and they really enjoyed what they do, Zingine watu wana come and we cut, like ingine tulido block printing, we just cut shapes from potatoes, or so get paint, and mtu anakam na an old t-shirt and we make patterns on it. Waenda nayo home ameivaa. Kuna beshte yangu aliniambia alikuwa amevaa hiyo t-shirts juu wapi, anauliza amebuy wapi,
any brand gani hiyo.
But anaambia I did it myself. You realize that art, it's not like something very complicated, it's also a form of healing. So that's why we've created this platform to at least, then with that we now also bring vendors along, vendors who are doing wanna push vitu along the same lines. We have people who sell plants. Under that we have people who sell art. Kuna mtu mwingine anauza candles from essential oils. Other people, they hand make stuff. This is a crochet and they sell under the same platform. Kuna mwingine pia ana make board games, and these are games that I may create board games that even talk about climate issues.
Interesting.
And sexual and reproductive health. So it's a whole platform that we're trying to bring people on board and create a very, holistic environment, and kuna a lot of healing and wellness into it. Yeah, so
we need a lot of that. People need a lot of healing.
Exactly, we are trying to improve pia the mental well-being of our society. At times tunakimbiza life sana and forget that in as much as we are trying to work on our financial aspect, our physical aspect, social aspect, but we also forget our mental is very important.
That is where everything begins.
Hii ndio engine bana. Ikichapa gari isongi.
So wadau umesikia, mnafaa kwenda service on the 10th of December. For more details, please check out their social media handles.
Yes? So social media wataipata @plants_yoga.
@plants_yoga.
Exactly. ART plants yoga.
You will see it down here. Exactly. As we plan to go for the healing session.
Kabisa.
So you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. That was Wango. Maybe you can give us a social media handles as well.
Okay. On Instagram mtu anaweza nipata @Wango Alfred. Anaweza tafuta Caribou Nairobi. So handle ni KRBNRB. Na pia unaweza pata KRBNRB apparel. Pia mtu anaweza pata Wango 35mm. So hiyo ni page where I get to share a lot of, I shoot on film. Film photography. Bado niko na I'm a culture and history enthusiast, so niko na ka aspect of nostalgia, so I get to
go back.
Go back in time, back to basics.
Very nice.
So on Instagram to pata search platforms, on Facebook Wango Alfred, Caribou Nairobi as well. Twitter Caribou Nairobi. TikTok pia tumeland majuzi tu, so Caribou Nairobi Studios. Yeah.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was Alfred Wango. He had a lot to share about art. So I hope you liked it. Make sure you subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you subscribe. So catch us next week. We shall be back again. My name has been MC Kipesa, and good morning, good evening, and good night.